New Twitter files dropping, what you doing about it? And these ones are centering around Russiagate and the lies there within. Very interesting, and I'm not really, and given the fact that we're on 14, I think last time I talked about this, it was 11, so maybe I've missed a couple, or maybe, I don't know, maybe my counting skills were off, and there's absolutely, not much hype around this at all, but hey man, I've been interested in figuring out exactly how much influence social media had when it came to perpetuating this obviously fake story. It's been a hot minute since I've seen anything about the Twitter files or Elon Musk in general. It's kind of weird what's going on. He's been awfully quiet lately. I wonder what he's up to. Anyways, so Twitter files number 14, care of Mr. Matt Taibbi. Once again, the Russiagate lies. What? Number 1, the fake tale of Russian bots and the release the memo hashtag. Okay, interesting. Okay, so at a crucial moment in years-long fur, Democrats denounced a report about the flaws in the Trump-Russia investigation, saying it was boosted by Russian bots and trolls. Oh, so this is also going to have something to do with social media bots as well? Interesting. Twitter officials were aghast, finding no evidence of Russian influence. We are feeding congressional trolls, not any significant activity connected to Russia, putting the cart before the horse, assuming this is propaganda and bots. And yo, check out who's a part of these communications, okay, in between here. So you've got Dianne Feinstein, okay, senator out of California, and Adam Schiff, because of course, whenever you hear Russiagate, whose buggy eyes do you anticipate popping out of a dark closet? Thank you for the letter regarding trending hashtags and concerns over Russian disinformation efforts. Mr. Dorsey. Oh, there he is. Oh, there's another person who's been kind of quiet lately. Has asked me to respond to the issue to the issues you have raised. Okay, I'm not reading the rest of that stuff. But this one also involves the United States House of Representatives. Colin Crowell. Okay, Lauren Culbertson, Carlos Monet, and Nick Pickles. Oh, Nick Pickles. That's a repeat offender I'm seeing right there. Okay. We are feeding congressional trolls. Interesting revelation that they have there. All right. Twitter warned politicians and the media that they not only lacked evidence, but had evidence. The accounts weren't Russian and were roundly ignored. No, it's just Russia. What about Russia? No, it's not Russia. It's Russia, though. Oh, okay. On January 18th, 2018. Wow, just about 5 years ago. Jeez. 5 fucking years ago. Republican Devin Nunes, he a bad man now, submitted a classified memo to the House Intel Committee detailing abuses by the FBI in obtaining FISA surveillance authority against Trump-connected figures, including a crucial role played by the infamous PISS dossier, the Steele dossier, of course, where Donald Trump got Russian hookers to piss on a bed that Barack Obama slept on. So fucking stupid that anybody took that seriously. Those are the same people that continue to say the walls are closing in on the Trump any day now. Fucking retards. Yo, I guess that right there is some of said memo. This memorandum provides members an update on significant facts relating to the committee's ongoing investigation into the Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, their use over a FISA during the 2016 presidential election cycle. Interesting. So October 21st, 2016, DOJ and FBI sought and received a FISA probable cause order authorizing electronic surveillance on Carter Page from FISC. Oh, Page is a U.S. citizen who served as a volunteer advisor to the Trump presidential campaign. Oh, okay. FBI and DOJ obtained one initial FISA warrant targeting Carter Page and 3 FISA renewals from FISC, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Courts, for anybody wondering. Then Director James Comey signed 3 FISA applications in question on behalf of the FBI. Deputy Director Andrew McCabe signed 1. Interesting. Okay. Then DAG Sally Yates and acting DAG, Dana Bonte, and DAG Rod Rosenstein. All of these are just names, blast from the past, really. Each signed 1 or more FISA applications on behalf of the DOJ. Very strange. Okay, the Nunes assertion would virtually all be verified by the report by Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz in December of 2019. All right, you can feel free to read through all that if you like. Okay. Nonetheless, national media in January and early February 2018 denounced the Nunes report in oddly identical language, calling it a joke. If you take a look at legitimately any large story out there, you will find this universal branding. And this is what, a screenshot from MSNBC. 2 ex-DOJ officials on Nunes memo, a bad joke. Andrea Mitchell, Nunes has turned House Intel Committee into a joke. So the through line is joke. Nunes memo is no smoking gun. It's a joke and a sham. Interesting. Ex-RNC chairman rips a Nunes memo for the joke it is. The Onion is mad you're stealing their material. Oh, remember back in the day when the Onion was relevant? Sucks to suck. That could be a multitude of things, though. Okay, I'm not gonna. I can at least steel man this point right here. Okay, there's a lot of lazy copy editors that are out there. Okay, they're just gonna go and run with the first person that reports on it saying that it's a joke. It's like, well, I heard that it was the joke, so we'll just go ahead and we'll put a quote in there, and a quote reads really well in a headline, so we can just go ahead and do that. That would be great. You see that happen with just about every story that's out there. There's some trashier outlets that are just gonna rip headlines wholesale. So, much ado about nothing with that one, but when you get all of the evidence together, well, it looks a little bit more suspicious. On January 23rd, 2018, Senator Dianne Feinstein and Congressman Adam Schiff published an open letter saying the hashtag gained the immediate attention and assistance of social media accounts linked to Russian influence operations. How very fucking funny. Feinstein and Schiff said that Nunes' memo distorts classified information, but to note they didn't call it incorrect. Wow, it's almost like you're seeing misinformation or disinformation 1.0 right there. It's just being distorted. And now if they were to write that memo, or the official response to a Nunes memo, it would be, oh, he's spreading misinformation. That's not what it actually says. Well, what does it actually say? It's disinformation. Connecticut Senator Dick Blumenthal. Oh yes, all-white country club Dick Blumenthal followed suit, publishing a letter saying, "Oh, we find it reprehensible the Russian agents have so eagerly manipulated innocent Americans. That's our job, buddy." Feinstein, Schiff, Blumenthal, and media members all pointed to the same source, the Hamilton 68 dashboard created by former FBI counterintelligence official Clint Watts, under the auspices of an Alliance for Securing Democracy. Oh man, our democracy is in danger. I see where all of this stuff is beginning. That's kind of wild. The dashboard, which featured a crude picture of Vladimir Putin. What the fuck? Okay, I see, kind of higher quality art than what you'd normally see. Here, I can just go ahead and put this on screen. I can just flip this around a little bit and go full screen. Yeah, as you can see, it's at least a little bit better than what you're normally trying to find, or what you would be likely to find if you cracked open a run-of-the-mill comic book at this point in time. Okay, it's kind of got a Soviet aesthetic to it, a bit, so it makes sense. But it's always funny when you see leftists, who would normally be on the side of communism and socialism, trying to paint it in a way that paints the Russian government in a bad light. Listen, they're operating in the aftermath after the fall of the Soviet Union, which you guys would consider to be a great travesty on the world. But anyways, none of that shit really makes sense to me. Okay, inside Twitter, executives panned Watts, Hamilton 68, and the Alliance for Securing Democracy. Two key complaints. Hamilton 68 seemed to be everyone's only source, and no one was checking with Twitter. Interesting. I encourage you to be skeptical of Hamilton 68's take on this, which, as far as I can tell, is the only source of these stories, said a global policy communications chief and future White House and NSC spokesperson Emily Horn. How fucking funny, she added. It's a comms play for ASD. Oh, okay, so they were just trying to... This is another way that this stuff, just kind of runs around. Like I was saying before with the headline stuff, okay? The way that some of these quote-unquote journalists will create a story is by saying something so outlandish, and then they report it, or at least they relay the story to somebody else, and it's like, oh wow, that's equally as crazy. Now I can say that sources say, or somebody close to the administration says, insert stupid jargon, because journalistic ethics, okay? 2 independent sources that can be independently verified. No, you don't need that stuff anymore. All you need is just an ideologically driven newsroom where you can just bounce ideas off of one another, and it's like, yes, I can go ahead and put out that headline. That'll be great. It'll trend on Twitter. All the swirl is based on Hamilton, said Trust and Safety Chief Yoel Roth. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I'm sure you're great. I'm sure you're definitely not trying to run away from any of your bad decisions lately. You're a gem, my guy. If ASD isn't going to fact check with us, then we should feel free to correct the record on their work, said Policy VP Carlos Monet. Oh, yes. Now we know who that guy is. Okay. Roth couldn't find any Russian connection to release the memo at all. No, it's there. You got to look harder to help us out. I just reviewed the accounts that posted the first 50 tweets with the release of the memo, and none of them show any signs of affiliation to Russia. No, it's there. You're just not looking hard enough. Don't you see our nice banner? Okay, it's definitely Putin's fault. We investigated, found that engagement is overwhelmingly organic and driven by VIT's very important tweeters, including WikiLeaks and Congressman Steve King. Oh, because I see very important tweeter, and then I just think that fucking nut job. He writes a good horror book, but what a fucking spaz Stephen King is. Anyway, staffer for DiFi, okay, Dianne Feinstein, argues that it would be helpful to know how Hamilton 68 goes by. Process by which to decide an account is Russian. I don't know, like the place where they normally tweet it, check an IP addresses, or, you know, simply the bio or something like that. That's normally how I do it, but hey, man, you're trying to explain technology to somebody who fucking grew up during World War II. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic. I think she was voting age when Ronald Reagan was governor of the state that she is a senator for. Bitch is fucking ancient. When Twitter spoke to Blumenthal staffer and tried to wave him off because we don't believe these are bots. Oh, okay. Listen, man, there's no proof that these are bots. No, they are. They're clearly bots. Thank you for your time. I've got a tea time at 3, and there will be no Negroes around. At another, it would be worth nudging Blumenthal staffer that it could be in his boss's best interest not to go out there because it could come back and make him look silly. Yeah, 5 years later, I'll get around to it. Twitter executive even tried to negotiate, implying an undisclosed future PR concession if Blumenthal would lay off this. It seems like there are other wins we could offer him. Blumenthal published his letter anyway, because of course he did. Executives eventually grew frustrated over what they saw was a circular process presented with claims of Russian activity, even when denied, led to more claims. They expressed this explicitly to Blumenthal's camp, saying Twitter spent a lot of resources on this request, and the reward from Blumenthal shouldn't be round after round of requests. We can't do a user notice each time this happens. So they couldn't be convinced. They were ideologically possessed by all this stuff. Listen, man, this is clearly Russian disinformation. It's like there's no evidence that this is Russian. It's Russian. Trust us. We got the records. We can see this stuff. We've got the receipts. If you could have access to the channels that we have access to, you believe us too. Unless, of course, you do have access, and it's like there's nothing in there. Just shut your mouth. Ultimately, senior executives talked about feeding congressional trolls and compared their situation to a children's book. If you give a mouse a cookie. Aw, man, if you give a donkey its own show, AOC will turn up. Anyways, in the story, okay, if you give a mouse a cookie, oh, that's what this is on about. Okay, he'll want a glass of milk, which can lead to a wave of other exhausting requests. Oh, it's kind of like the natural progression. It's kind of like the Democratic Party's platform. If you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, but if you teach a man to fish, he'll feed himself for a lifetime. Yeah, this is the Democrats just giving handouts. So I guess they do practice what they preach. So, yo, good ass analogy, old Twitter people. That's kind of fucking weird. The metaphor for the endless Russian request was so perfect. One executive wrote, "I'm legit embarrassed I didn't think of that first." It's actually pretty smart. Wow, there actually used to be pretty decent people that worked at Twitter. Oh well, despite universal internal conviction, there was no Russians in the story. There's not enough about the Russia. Twitter went on record to follow a Slavish pattern of not challenging Russian claims on the record. No, of course, man, it's Russia. It's like, it's not Russia. It's Russia. Just trust us. Outside counsel from DC-connected firms like Deba Voice and Pimpleton Okay. Advise Twitter to use language like, okay, with respect to particular hashtags, we take seriously any activity that may represent an abuse on our platform, especially from Russian bots. There aren't any we know, okay. As a result, reporters from AP and Politico to NBC to Rolling Stone continued to hammer the Russian bots theme. I wonder if there's a consistent through line in these headlines. Russian Twitter accounts push hashtag release the memo conservative meme. Researchers say. Which researchers? Oh, it's just you guys in the newsroom back and forth with each other. Okay, release the memo is now the top trending hashtag among Russian bots and trolls on Twitter. No, it's just organic communication. Shut up, it's bots. It's funny how they project this, but we'll just read through the rest of this stuff before I opine on that topic and on other platforms. Oh, wow, the Russian bots are spreading. Okay, according to German Marshall Fund's Hamilton 68 website, which is just a Democrat legitimately. And I don't like to use this term until it's necessary. And in this case, it absolutely is. It's a Democratic echo chamber. That's all it is. It's just Democrat noises, okay? Just somebody saying, Russian bots! And then somebody off in the other distance is going, no, there's none there. And then all that echoes across all of the walls is Russian disinformation, which tracks Russian influence campaigns. Yes, it does. It just didn't find any evidence that they're there. Oh, great. Nail in the coffin for the Nunes memo. And of course, you're citing your source as a side profile picture of Adam Schiff. Sorry, man. Democratic response to the GOP memo on FBI surveillance adds new details to the case against Nunes and the Russian investigation. Oh, of course. Maybe that is Devin Nunes. I don't know. Maybe it is. Release the memo. What's conspiracy behind the right-wing meme? Republicans claim the secret document reveals a Hillary Clinton plot worse than Watergate, and they're getting a big boost from Russian bots. Bro, you want to know something? Okay. Something that's weird. Every single time that I see a story that's out there, okay, I'll have one take on it, and then there's something that's just absolutely buck-ass wild that goes out there. Okay, like to just something else that's equally in the news right now. Okay, Andrew Tate stuff. Okay, like I've stated multiple different times, I like what Andrew Tate does. I'm an Andrew Tate supporter and all that jazz. Okay, because I like the message. I think that it's important for people to hear that side of the stuff. Masculine excellence is important. The stuff that he talks about that gets clipped out of context is just a fraction of what he ultimately talks about. But that's the reason that I fuck with the message. Other people just try to think these nefarious things is like, oh, he's just a scammer. He's running a multi-level marketing Ponzi scheme. And it's like, oh, I understand why that's the first thing that they hop to. I'm thinking that Andrew Tate is popular because his message is unique and it's resonating with the people, where they understand that masculinity is important and everybody else is just either delivering a watered down version of it or they just deride it wholesale. It's like, oh, that's why I think that it's popular. You just think something nefarious because that's ultimately your frame of mind. That's your mental point of origin. That your ideas can't be popular on their own. It's just some nefarious scheme behind it. Okay, it's a grasp at money. Okay, it's a grasp at attention. Nothing's ever good. Nothing's ever organic. Okay, it's always for a nefarious purpose. And that's what I'm seeing here with all of these. Oh, it's Russian bots, and there's nothing behind it. And people are saying, no, it's actually not Russian bots. The reason that these certain leftists, I can't say all of them, okay, think that the right needs Russian bots in order to perpetuate their organically trending topics is because all of their ideas are just these fringe minority positions that need inorganic amplification in order to reach mass publications. They're just self-snitching. They are confessing through projection. It's wild. It's a strange phenomenon I've been thinking about whenever, a certain topic comes out, and I'm actually trying to figure out why it's developing the way it is. And then when I hear other people talk about it and then they got this whack-ass opinion where they'll just immediately jump to malice. It's like, oh, that's just you in general. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I could be off on that, but that's just what I see. Okay, anyways, we'll just wrap this up. There's not much more to this, okay? Russians weren't just blamed for releasing a memo, but Schumer shut down Parkland shooting, even gun control now to widen the divide, according to New York Times. Of course, the New York Times needed to chime in, but they're at least a little bit unique. There's still some quote-unquote journalists that were out there, but Hey man, New York Times, you know about their inauthenticity problems in and of themselves. NBC, Politico, AP, Times, Business Insider, Rolling Stone, okay, all use the Russian bots story and all declined to comment when they had their receipts pulled because it's just, I don't know, okay. So Devin Nunes offered a comment. Okay, Schiff and the Democrats falsely claimed Russians were behind the release of the memo. Hashtag all my investigative work by spreading the Russian collusion hoax. They instigated one of the greatest outbreaks of mass delusion in U.S. history. Yup. And you know when all that Russian disinformation stuff stopped? When they could start running with the anti-science, anti-vax stuff. Same tactics, new wording, and I think I might be onto something with my theory. I don't know about that. But till the next time we hear about the Twitter files, that's all she wrote this time around. Good stuff, Matt Taibbi. You're doing Yauman's work. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.